Hey there guys, so the last time in the anime, Arthur was in front of a really dangerous looking creature, but she turned out to be really good. She helped Arthur in various ways, and saw that kid already has formed its magic core, so Sylvia offered him a technique to help Arthur expand his powers, but before teaching him that, Sylvia first taught him to make use of this power for good, not to aimlessly become a cold person like his past self. That's why Arthur vowed to always use his powers to protect the ones he loves. But sadly, someone else comes to that cave, and Sylvia hides Arthur away. There Arthur saw that Sylvia was a dragon, and she stopped time for Arthur. She could have sent Arthur back to his parents the day he arrived, but Sylvia loved spending time with Arthur. That's why she kept him here until now. Arthur also doesn't care if she's a dragon. For him, Sylvia has already become a family. That's why Arthur called her grandmother. But sadly, it's time to part ways. But before that, Sylvia gives something to Arthur before sending him away. And that's how Sylvia took her last breath in an attempt to stop the attacker. And now Arthur was dropped down in the woods all alone, but he heard the voices of people in the area. So Arthur took precautionary approach and climbs the tree to keep a safe distance first, and they turned out to be slave traders who caught an elf girl to sell. That reminds Arthur of how he was separated from his family from similar peoples, so Arthur followed them from a distance. Taking them out all at once in a head-on fight was a bad idea. Arthur knew he couldn't win with his power level, so he decided to prepare for the right time, and as darkness fell, Arthur awoke. They had forest beasts tamed with magic collars. So Arthur hits them for distraction, and just as someone came up to silence them, Arthur struck the guy. With that kill, Arthur got a proper weapon and got to the second one who came to check up. Now there are only two left, and third also followed up. Arthur only slashed out his leg, but now just the final one remained. That guy felt Arthur would fetch a very high price because he's a mage at this age, and Arthur prepares to battle him but ends up upside down. So he uses ignition to blast that guy in fire, which allowed him to free himself and hit him with a headshot. So now the threat is officially gone, and that last guy begged for his life, but Arthur didn't spare him to save the future trouble. Then he saved the girl, and she reminded him of someone, but anyways, the girl saw Arthur was hurt. This much was nothing for him, but for a child his age it might look serious. Arthur realized it's the first time he's ever been with the kid of his age. Until now, he was always with adults. Then the girl asked him about those slavers, and Arthur knew he couldn't say anything to a kid who killed all of them. So he made up excuses to pack up and run, but the girl stopped him. Her expression was clearly saying not to leave her all alone in the woods, you heartless jerk. Arthur could hear it, so he decided to stick close to her. Her home was in a different way. She was chasing bugs and got lost and finally got kidnapped by those slavers, so Arthur decided to escort her back home. But there the girl let the forest beasts free. They went off peacefully, and now comes the time for their journey. On their way, Arthur learns that her name is Tesha Aerolith and gives her some food to eat, which reminds him of how Sylvia had offered him food when he first met her. Anyways, the food wasn't good, and until now, Arthur had seen food as a means to only get nutrition. But after getting parents, that changed. There Tesha asked Arthur how he ended up here, and Arthur didn't go into detail, and only said he was separated. After that they talked on their way, and Tesha revealed that she spends a lot of time with her grandparents and caretakers because her parents are busy, and then they stop for a while, and some little spirits appeared around Tesha. She gave one to Arthur even though he declined, and they continued their journey with joking around, but Arthur sensed that the same beast Tesha fed is following them. So he decided to keep a watch outside at night in case it attacks them. And at the same time, he wondered what Sylvia had entrusted him with. There Tesha was uncomfortable alone. She was taught not to share a bed with a man, but she decided to keep a secret. Arthur said he was fine, but Tesha was coming back with more reason to ask the guy to stay in the tent. Arthur realized she was scared of ghosts, so he gave in and got in. Tesha then asked if all human men are perverts who take many wives. Arthur objected this, but he wondered if she even knows the meaning of the word pervert. Girl learned some weird stuff from his grandpa, and Arthur said only nobles do that. Then Tesha went to sleep, and night passed away like that. Then the next morning they continued with their journey again, but at the time to cross the river, Tesha got scared, and Arthur also wanted to reunite with his parents. But this sudden surge of pain was getting intense. Even after time, the attack time only gets shortened, and there the beats comes out at this time, but with a hunt for them. It seems that was a gratitude for freeing him and his friends, and eating good meat after a while was worthwhile. Their Tesha had brought wild mushroom back, which many women in the elf kingdom eat. But it may be too much for human man. Then at night, Arthur was back on guard duty, and Tesha began telling him some stories. It causes Arthur to fall asleep quickly. But the pain returns the next day. Their Tesha wanted to call Arthur by his nickname because they had gotten closer to become friends. Arthur made fun of it, but he was on board. Then Tesha found the teleportation gate and quickly went in. Arthur followed her lead and arrived in the Elf Kingdom, which was beautiful. But suddenly some soldiers held Arthur down like a criminal. But right there our episode 4 ends, so stay tuned to watch the next episode of this anime. And for that, subscribe to the channel so that you won't miss the newest updates. Till then, take care.